I've been serving in Mongolia, and I've been there since December of 1993. Mennonite Mission Network is part of a consortium of 13 various mission organizations in Mongolia called JCS International. Another partnership that's been involved in the work in Mongolia is the Mongolia Mission Partnership, which is a group of individuals and churches in Ohio that formed shortly before I went to Mongolia, so has been in existence for more than 32 years. Over the years, Mission Network has sent a number of people to Mongolia, many long-termers and a few short-termers, and teams, as well as Mission Network representatives. I focus back on some of the earlier ones. Carl and Esther Beck, they have been MBM workers in Japan for many, many years. They served in Mongolia in JCS for 3 months so that I could do full-time language study. In 1997, Dale Shum was turning over his role to Sheldon Swatsky, so they traveled to Mongolia for the JCS annual general meeting, and Stanley joined them on that trip. JCS had about 26 adults when I first went, peaked in the early 2000s. At one point, we had 72 adults. MMN's peak time of workers was in 2003. There were 10 long-term workers. Drew and Mary Ellen Robinson were involved with the Timber Project. Later, Drew was involved with the prison ministry for a few years before they returned to the States. Bill and Mary Jane Yoder set up a model dairy farm, which was replicated by many. Really impactful. I think I can safely say that this was the only JCS project that the president of Mongolia visited. Marlo and Vicki Ramsey. Marlo was involved with a project similar to Habitat for Humanity, and then later moved into admin in the office with leadership, and was interim executive director for a year before the family returned to Canada. Petrus and Yuliana were from Indonesia, were there for a number of years. This shows Petrus when he was teaching at UBTC, which is Union Bible Training Center. When the Bible school was having trouble with visas for their teachers, Petrus shifted to teaching philosophy at the Mongolia International University. Tanya Starner started out as an English teacher and then developed a translation project and worked with a good team, translated many books that has evolved into a counseling training project. And they use the books that they've translated as resources for training people who are in counseling roles. And then myself, I've been involved in a number of roles over the years, but mainly administration in the JCS office. There have been a number of work teams that have come primarily from the Ohio Partnership churches, also some vision casting teams, information tours that were led through Mission Network. Most of the projects that have been started over the past 15 years have been with the individuals that are part of JCS. They feel led to start something, and then they develop the project, they do the fundraising for it. One of the things that JCS was challenged with a few years ago was JCS starting a project, more of an organization oversight of it so that it maintains sustainability a little bit more. Capacity building project was written up. Thankfully, last year, we received a grant for the project. So in January, this project began. Some of the objectives of this project is to work with partner organizations, primarily Christian NGOs, to strengthen their own organization structure with the intention of helping organizations be more effective in the communities that they're serving in, helping them to build stable and accountable organizational leadership, becoming part of a network for Christian organizations to know what others are doing and potentially work together, helping organizations be able to do community projects. And then, the whole aspect of understanding integral mission and the role of the church. Big objectives for this project, but we are trusting that it will be effective for Mongolia. A more recent activity that happened was in September of 2024. Sister Care everything came together, and the group of women that were there, it was God's timing. It was great. Partnership is always needed, but it is still good to look at sending people, primarily just to walk alongside the Mongolians, especially in the church aspect. There's still growth needed in that way. JCS has always been grateful for Mission Network representatives that have been involved in the governance of JCS by serving on the board, which has been very meaningful and has made a very strong statement to JCS about the commitment of Mennonite Mission Network to the work in Mongolia. Some things have changed in Mongolia. The stores are fully stocked, and there are now supermarkets in most of the towns. Gone are the days of going from shop to shop searching for something basic like apples. Nomadic families still move by camel, but some no longer live in gers and actually move their house by truck. There are still uncertainties when traveling in the countryside, but there are some signs now. And some things have not changed, like the milking of horses to make erik, the fermented mare's milk. Thankfully, God has not changed, and whatever is happening, God is at work. To God be the glory.